This content is sponsored by HBC Solar PV Tech and Automaton Electronics and Security.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Today is the 3rd of March 2025. I'd like to discuss a big plant, electric vehicle, EV plant here in the state of Georgia in the United States. And it is from Hyundai, sometimes pronounced Hyundai. The plant is located near the city of Savannah, Georgia. It is outside of the city of Savannah, Georgia. Specifically, it is a Metaplant. They call it a Metaplant. Metaplant, I'm not sure what they really mean by that. And it is located in Ellabell, Georgia, in the United States. Ellabell, Georgia is again just outside of the city of Savannah, which is among the bigger metropolitan areas here in the States. It's out of the coast. Savannah is. Ellabell is a few miles inland, I would say over maybe 10-20 miles, which is says here 40 kilometers from downtown Savannah, inland, away from the coast. So I will read again a Hyundai Motor Group Metaplant America article from Wikipedia.org. Again, a great resource for up-to-date information. It may not be last minute information, but it's pretty accurate from my experience and also pretty recent. So the article goes: Hyundai Motor Group Metaplant America, or HMGMA, sometimes called HMG Plant or Metaplant America, or the Hyundai Metaplant, is an electric vehicle EV production site operated by Hyundai, located in Ellabell, Bryan County, Georgia, United States. The $7.6 billion site, located along the Interstate 16, about 25 miles or 40 kilometers from downtown Savannah, with over 16 million square feet, that is 1.5 million square meters of factory floor space. The campus will also produce batteries in a joint venture with LG Energy Solution at an additional under construction factory. As I was mentioning, this is a quite large and extremely vast investment here in the state of Georgia. It says here it is the largest economic investment in Georgia's history. So it is quite a significant investment. Again, $7.6 billion invested toward manufacturing again of electric vehicles. Specifically, it says here SUVs, and it began manufacturing October 2024, merely months ago. Again, the plant belongs to Hyundai, or Hyundai, which is, I believe, a Korean-based or headquartered company, Hyundai Motor Group. But they obviously have heavy investment here in the US, specifically here in the US's southeast. They do have other facilities here in the state of Georgia. So I will continue with the article here in this very important development, and this is very relevant and important, central to electric vehicle industry as a whole, manufacturing as a whole. This is extremely important, central, and critical when it comes to the widespread adoption of EVs. You want to have manufacturing capacity which is exactly what Hyundai is doing. It is expanding very significantly their manufacturing capacity of specifically EV, SUVs. Perhaps they have other models, other capabilities, I'm sure, other than SUVs, perhaps cars, perhaps, even larger vehicles than SUVs. But also they apparently have, or will have quite soon coming, the capability of manufacturing electric vehicle batteries. So continuing with the article, the history and construction of the site. The land occupied by HMGMA was previously designated by Bryan County as the Bryan County mega site. Volvo had considered the area for a new manufacturing plant in 2015, but ultimately built a factory in South Carolina instead. 6 years later, with hopes of successfully attracting a large manufacturing automaker, the area was purchased in 2021 for $61 million by the state of Georgia, Bryan and Chatham counties, and the Savannah Harbor Interstate 16 Corridor Joint Development Authority. The deal combined 3 separately owned parcels of land. The site lies directly off of Interstate 16. Again, side note, which I have witnessed and seen myself, this is an extremely large, a vast site. It goes as far as the eye could see. So with existing class 1 rail links and close access to Interstate 95 and the port of Savannah, so it is quite strategically located. So discussions between Hyundai and government officials began in January 2022. Hyundai announced the $7.6 billion factory in April 2022, and construction on the 2,284 acre, that's 924 hectares site began that October. A groundbreaking ceremony held on October 25th was attended by Hyundai CEO, which is quite a huge visit here to the state, by Hyundai CEO and Chairman Chung Yu-sun, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, U.S. Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, U.S. Representative Buddy Carter, and Deputy Secretary of Commerce Don Graves. So it was attended by quite important figures there, with perhaps the exception of Brian Kemp. Hyundai was incentivized by provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act. Full production of HMGMA began in October 2024. The first model produced was the 2025 Ioniq 5. Again, that was just a cheeky joke about the governor. Economic development. HGMA is the largest economic project in Georgia's history. That is quite a bold statement. That is per Bynum Russ 2024, October 7th, which I believe is an article from the Associated Press News from December 2024. The article is titled "Hyundai has begun producing electric SUVs at its $7.6 billion plant in Georgia." By September 2024, more than 800 workers had been hired to work at HGMA, according to the Economic Development Agreement between HGMA, the state of Georgia, the Georgia Development of Economic Development, and the Savannah Joint Development Authority. HGMA has agreed to hire 8,100 people by 2031. That is 8,100 people. The Georgia Department of Transportation, as a side note, I did apply to Hyundai not long ago when I caught a glimpse of this mega site. I actually drove by the site and I immediately was interested in perhaps exploring some employment options, since I'm quite interested in electric vehicles and the such. And I did find out that it was, because of signage and other research I did, that it was for electric vehicle manufacturing. I wasn't sure what kind, if it was batteries or actual vehicles or both, but it did hint that it was. So I did find out. I did put in. I never did get any kind of call back or anything like that. I did also actually get a call back from a nearby plant from Hyundai, but this was not for the electric vehicle plant. It was more for like a vehicle seat manufacturer, which they were actually looking for inspectors. So I was invited to come into their facility to explore employment options. However, that did not come to fruition. That did not materialize for one reason or another. I forget the exact reason, but that's just a side note of personal experience there with the site. I'll probably go around and check it out, see how it's doing. But last time I checked, I went by. Personally, it was still under construction. It was, I would say, in the advanced stages of construction. There were walls put up. There were quite a bit of equipment, construction equipment, heavy duty and large construction equipment laying around, earth moving equipment and the such. So it may have been in the mid stages, perhaps not so advanced. And this was, I would say, maybe about a year ago. So construction moved pretty quick, I think, especially for such size of this mega site. So continuing, the Georgia Department of Transportation has planned several upgrades surrounding infrastructure, including widening US 280, construction frontage roads along I-16, that's Interstate 16, and expanding the interchange at Old Coiler Road or Keeler Road. Around the area, 17 suppliers have announced new factories to support the Hyundai plant, which combined will invest an additional estimated total of $2.7 billion and employ another 7,000 workers. Manufacturers include Hanan Systems, PHA, Suyon EHWA, and Wuri Industrial. Hyundai also is contributing a nearby $4.3 billion battery factory in tandem with LG Energy Solution. LG Energy Solution. Operation. Hyundai called the plant Metaplant and its employees Meta Pros. Quite interesting. According to the company, the prefix Meta can mean transformative or transcending. Using those definitions, the Metaplant will transform the definition of what an automotive plant is. Quite strong statements there from Hyundai. Hopefully they pull it through. They deliver on their statements there, their expectations at least. According to Hyundai, the factory uses autonomous vehicles instead of conveyor belts to move vehicle bodies. Side note on that, I do believe that because of personal experience working with another Korean company called Kumho Tires. They have a plant here nearby that I was fortunate to participate in their operations there for several months, and they actually are quite automated. I'm talking about robotized. I'm talking about automated self driving vehicles, specifically lift trucks that use something that I believe is LiDAR, which is the light radar, and perhaps programming and cameras. And these lift trucks used to go around on their own, no drivers, lifting around tires, lifting around supplies, etc., and moving them around. I mean, these things were quite a few of them, and I believe they are quite advanced in that part of the world when it comes to automation. So believe it when they say that they will use quite a bit of automation. Hyundai expects around 70% of completed vehicles to be shipped by rail via the Georgia Central Railway, which is, again, extremely refreshing that they're going to try to keep most of their, or at least a good portion of their supplies off of the roads here in Georgia, which are, again, quite dangerous, as I've mentioned before. And not only that, but also increasingly congested, especially around the Atlanta metro area. So to repeat, Hyundai expects about 70% of completed vehicles to be shipped via rail, specifically the Georgia Central Railway, and constructed additional rail siding to handle the volume of auto-rack cars. The water tower, located at the factory site along I-16, features artwork by students from Savannah College of Art and Design, which is quite interesting, which I believe that's the school called SCAD or SCAD, which I believe they also have a quite large facility or campus there downtown Atlanta. Hyundai plans to reach full production of over 300,000 vehicles per year at HMGMA, and they don't mention a date for that goal, so probably they don't have it. Vehicles that will be produced there, according to this article: the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I thought the Ioniq series was changing, basically increasing by the model, but I guess they don't. They increase by the year. Meaning, what I mean by that is that they do have an Ioniq 6, so they, I guess, have an Ioniq 5 and 6 in tandem being produced for the same production year, which is interesting. The 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 is also going to be produced at this plant. So the Ioniq 5, I believe, is a hatchback car, not necessarily an SUV, but the Hyundai Ioniq 9, I believe, is. If I'm not mistaken, please do correct me in the comments if this is not correct. The Ioniq 5 is not, repeat, not an SUV. Do correct me in the comments if this is not right, what I'm saying. So, controversies: safety. In 2024, investigation by Savannah television station WTOC 11 found that during construction of the plant from April 2023 to July 2024, 53 injuries were reported, with 14 of them being described as traumatic. At least one worker died. And that is per a report from Shia Schrader called Safety Issues Injuries at Hyundai Megasite, Concerned Workers Advocates, from WTOC TV, 20th December 2024. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, opened more than a dozen investigations, and various subcontractors have been sued or fired for safety violations. So that is that for safety concerns. Quite sad that at least one worker perished during the construction of the site, and rumors have it that for the Kumho plant here near Macon, Georgia, also a worker did die also as well. That is per the rumors that I did hear while employed at that facility. Water. In October 2024, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division approved withdrawals of 6.625 million gallons of water per day from the Floridian aquifer, allowing for the drilling of 4 new wells in Bullock County. This is a temporary solution as Bryan County is legally required to implement an alternative water source for HMGMA within 25 years. That is that article. Thank you very much.